embrace who you are, embrace the chaos, embrace kind of goofing up, because I think the biggest trend we've seen, especially in the past couple of years with social media and just TV in general and film and shows, is people want authenticity. If you can just laugh at yourself and be comfortable, people love that. They really do. It humanizes you, you know? It truly makes people feel disarmed. Being a professional does not have to mean that you're in this box and you have no personality and you're this cold robot. In any industry that you work in, but especially in front of the camera, I think people really want to look to you and be like, wow, they have a personality. That is your brand.
Hey guys, I have Sarah Jenkins with me today. She is a TV producer. She is a TV host and co-publisher of Deluxe Version Magazine. Thank you, Sarah, for being on the show today.
Of course.
We really appreciate your time. And I'd love to jump in and ask you, what are the top 3 things that you learned from being in front of the camera for over 15 years?
Oh, gosh. Wow. I feel like, first and foremost, it doesn't come naturally to literally, I would say, 99% of people.
Good to know.
It definitely is a learning curve. I think that it's just, having this camera, as much as we now are all on our phones with social media, even if it's not the industry you work in, I feel like we all utilize our phones so much. It doesn't come naturally to kind of feel like performative. And so, like you said, the 15 years that I've been doing this, it definitely was a lot of trial and error, figuring out kind of that comfortability. And that's number one. And then what were the other 2? Sorry. Just a couple things that are like about.
A couple things that you learned from 15 years of being in front of a camera, like, as someone that just, just for my audience, say they are on social media and that's just not comfortable for them. How do they break free of, look?
Sure.
What are some suggestions?
So I think number 1, obviously, it does not come naturally. Number 2, embrace who you are. Embrace the chaos. Embrace kind of goofing up. Because I think the biggest trend we've seen, especially in the past couple of years with social media and just TV in general and film and shows, is people want authenticity. They are so craving that authenticity. Yes. And I think that it will help you not just in front of the camera, but in any industry that you work in, if you can just laugh at yourself and be comfortable, people love that. They really do. It kind of it humanizes you, It truly makes people feel disarmed. And there's an element of warmth there, And I think that I'm guilty of this, especially when I first started out. I would freeze and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that sounded so dumb or that looked weird. But if you can just laugh at yourself, literally everyone has flubbed their lines. Or when I used to anchor the news, I learned very quickly on that when you're reading a teleprompter, obviously you can't freeze. You have to just kind of keep going. And there's been a couple times you end up saying really weird things and you're like, what just came out of my mouth?
It makes me think of Ron Burgundy. Oh, sorry.
Very Ron Burgundy.
That's amazing.
It's like every anchor's favorite movie, but because, there's a lot of truth to it. And then number 3, I would just say it kind of goes hand in hand with the authenticity, but it's have fun with it. Because again, I think just having fun, being a professional does not have to mean that you're in this box and you have no personality and you're this cold robot. In any industry that you work in, but especially in front of the camera, I think people really want to look to you and be like, wow, they have a personality. That is your brand. That's what you're leading with. And being able to see you as this authentic human being is something that people are craving so much nowadays.
100% agreed. And this, again, is the theme for today, is authenticity.
I love it.
Not only like I heard for like so long, it's only on TikTok people want authenticity. I was like, they want it across the board.
Yes,
LinkedIn is going to be a little bit different, but it's also going to be authentic in who you are and your personal brand. Maybe TikTok's a little bit more fun, right? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not my main platform, but I can see how people are entertained by it, but they want natural, authentic entertainment, right?
And the amazing thing with social media, I think, and people who are building a brand is they're all so intertwined nowadays. So I hadn't really used LinkedIn the past couple of years. I was working out of Salt Lake for a local CBS affiliate. And then, when I've been a member of it forever, and I went on and I'm like, I feel like the algorithm has changed. All of the social media platforms have similarities nowadays. And I think one of those things you'll see is people are posting on LinkedIn what I would think people would have posted on like Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just they're really personalizing their stories. They have like influencers, who knew, on LinkedIn now talking about HR topics. And it's kind of cool because I think, everyone wants to share their stories and their voices. And that's the big reason that I went into journalism is I'm a storyteller and I love hearing about people. And I think we crave that human connection. So
yes. So how long have you done journalism? Or was that your first out of college, right? That was your first
well, actually,
job?
no. So interestingly, I grew up in the D.C. area. My dad worked for National Public Radio. Literally, he's like a unicorn. It was his whole 50-plus year career. Most people bounce around, but he was always there. And so I think at the back of my mind, I always was influenced, obviously, by that and thought I wanted to do journalism. I went to Arizona State, studied broadcasting, but literally when I graduated in 2009, the market was not great.
Yeah.
And the pay in local TV news is not always the best. That's no secret. But most people who go into it are very passionate about that. And so I actually took like a 10-year break and I didn't use this degree that I had in broadcasting. I actually did medical equipment sales. And I think,
money there.
Yeah, well, if you're going to chase that, there was part of the draw for sure. But I think I love talking to people who've had different type of careers in things that maybe you wouldn't put the two together, because I do think that obviously so many skill sets are interchangeable. And a lot of what I took in sales, I was able to then take on to when I did go into broadcasting. And, I think that fearlessness and speaking to whomever and not being intimidated and just a lot of things you wouldn't think that were connected worked out. So, yeah, I finally did go and used my degree at the age of 30. And so, yeah, I've been doing it for a while now.
And what was the most fun thing that you liked about journalism other than just hearing people's stories?
Yeah, I'm a social person and I love kind of elaborating on sharing their stories. I love learning what other people are passionate about. And it's fun can't think of that many professions where you not only get to talk to people from all different walks of life, but you get to learn kind of like their origins. And, if you are working in a hospital as a nurse, you might encounter people from every walk of life, but you don't really get to delve into these specific stories. And so I think that that's something that really was, I'm passionate about.
I think it's a gift being able to tell stories too, because that doesn't, like, you could be chatting with your girlfriend and just like, da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But to get in front of an audience or a stranger for that matter and actually be able to really tell stories is a gift or an art or both.
It's an art for sure. And I think back to us, just not to make it all about social media, but that's such a big part of people's branding nowadays. And people are realizing how important storytellers are. People who are doing videography, like right now, people who are doing the editing. It's not just writing. It's not just people creating a brand or being an influencer or, speaking publicly. Every single person really, I think, it helps to be able to craft that into a cohesive story and make it interesting. And that's an art.
It is, and I'm learning this myself.
You're there. You're incredible. Yeah.
Thank you. But not just here. I think for public speaking, motivational speaking is something very new to me. And I didn't realize I had a message or a voice or something that would influence or give people value or, be able to connect with other people. And like you said, that's a missing piece, not just on social media, but like, public speaking, they want to be able to connect with you. So bringing this story and this story and this story into and making it cohesive has definitely been a fun challenge for me.
It is, yeah. I feel like that's the beauty of it is you're learning probably not only about yourself every day, but obviously the people you're interacting with. And it's so fun. I think that the journey is part of the fun. And we get a lot of times so caught up on, I want to obtain this title or I want to have this role or I want to make X amount per year. But really when you look back, and I'm a work in progress, but it's fun to kind of look and think, okay, and it's not all about, the peaks and valleys. Some years are harder than others, but it's really you're learning and you're becoming better at your craft over time.
So you've interviewed a lot of different people from all walks of life and a lot of celebrities too.
Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous interviewing celebrities?
The answer is yes, not as much anymore. But I think that, certainly there's, a lot of times most of the time, people you're super respectful of. And scratch that. You're always handling these people with respect and people that you admire. And I think that if it's a high-profile person that you're familiar with their work, a lot of times it's like you're going in with these respect, but also maybe preconceived notions. And I think I've been fortunate. Pretty much everyone that I've ever interviewed has been so lovely. And I definitely have put my foot in my mouth. One time I remember I was interviewing Charlie Sheen on the red carpet in LA. And he was relatively newly sober. This was like 10 years ago. And he was talking about working at a soup kitchen. And I was saying, this is incredible. And I was like, you really want to get down and dirty there. And it was just a figure of speech. And he looked me straight in the eye and he was like, absolutely not. This is not dirty. This is pristine. And he was very nice, but he was firm. And I understood why he did that. He wanted to make it very clear that, this is something he's doing that's wonderful for society. But I was so mortified at the moment. I'm like, why did I use that figure of speech? And that's just like one example. But I remember, and part of it was like I was still relatively new to kind of the celebrity interviews. But like I said before, people are people. And if you just kind of like own it and laugh, I mean, it's no different than if you bumped into him at the grocery store and, you were chatting. So I think that as soon as you make it weird, then it is weird. If you are able to laugh and normalize whatever, as long as you're respectful, people are receptive to that. I've been fortunate to interview so many interesting people, and it's been fun. I absolutely love it.
I just saw recently that you got to interview Debbie Gibson.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What a legend. I mean, she's incredible. And she is actually honored this year by the Nevada Ballet. She's going to be their Woman of the Year for all of her philanthropic work. And she's just so lovely. I mean, she literally is a legend. And I didn't know she had been in Vegas for like a couple decades now. So that was so fun. And, I'm here in Vegas, and there are a lot of celebrities obviously who live here, and they all have cool stories, and it's kind of fun sometimes to learn about things that maybe the public doesn't know. So,
well, that's what is so fascinating about being a journalist and working for a magazine, right? I mean, was this part of Deluxe Version?
Yeah. So my current title is co-publisher of Deluxe Version Magazine. It's been such an incredible opportunity coming from the world of kind of doing TV for the past decade and a half. It's been incredible. I tell a lot of people, I feel like this role has a lot of similarities with the lifestyle show I hosted because, again, we're really showcasing people and businesses in our communities. But it's so much fun too. We get to kind of have the glamour and the luxury and the travel. And then we also, people who are at the top of their business, these people who are so influential. And so it is interesting to see kind of that synchronicity, how that worked out. And it's been really a fun ride.
I'm glad that you're with them because they're just like family. I mean, everybody that works there, and Tim and Danny and all the amazing Ray. I don't know anybody else. So
no, those are like the top. I mean, they're the incredible people. And everyone that we interview is, like I said, typically the top of their industry. So it's so fun because it's like I feel like I get to know them when I interview them. And then I'm like, I just want the world to know how incredible they are. So a lot of talented people here and in all the cities that we represent. So.
Well, I love that too, that you're not just in Vegas. Now you're becoming a global, right?
Yes. So our brand is global in that we currently are in Mexico. We have cities that we've been the past decade plus, focusing a lot on like Miami, Las Vegas, Beverly Hills. But we're really a global brand, and we just continue to grow, and it's really exciting.
Yay.
Yeah.
You guys are going to come to Austin.
I know. We need to go
I
there.
think that's what he's saying. Well, at least Texas, and I'm in Austin, so why not?
I love Austin. I haven't been in a while. I need to come.
Yes, come visit. It's so fun. Oh my gosh. It's such a fun vibe. It's a good city. It's like you'll see famous or not famous or just whatever, and they're just so chill.
Yeah.
It's just like happy. I don't know.
I love it. I've only been a couple times. I went to a bachelorette party, which I feel like a lot of people go their first time for, but it was like amazing. And we went and did like voodoo donuts and Torchy's tacos. And, we hit all the spots.
all the spots, yes.
6th Street. And then I went for a friend's wedding, and we got to see kind of like more intimate, like the family, they lived in the suburbs, and it was so beautiful. Yeah. So I just want to, I know you and I share that. We love travel. So I always say I want to see everywhere,
I would love for you to give a couple tips to the audience, about being confident in front of the camera. I know you talk about kind of what to do, but is there something that you could say almost like to fake it till you make it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell a funny story. Like I said, I graduated in broadcasting, and then there were years where I went to a completely different field. So when I was considering going back into it, I needed to update my reel. I needed to literally put myself out there. It is being as vulnerable as you can get. And my boyfriend at the time, my now husband, he knew how much I wanted to get back into it. And he really was one of the ones that encouraged me. And he knew I loved to write and journalism kind of hand in hand. But he was like, why don't you pursue this? Like you have a degree in it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I literally started out on my phone just filming myself, just to see what I sounded like and get comfortable again, because it had been years. And it was kind of before like Instagram even took off, because it was like early 2010. So we really weren't like, filming ourselves in stories. Like that wasn't, so there had been a lapse of time of video and like seeing what I sounded like. And he teases me because I sent these little videos of myself pretending to anchor. And he told me later, he was like, oh, honey, like, maybe let's try something else. Like, no, he's very blunt. He'll tell you how it is. I'm like, but I laugh because you just have to keep doing it. And like, you can't be self-conscious. Anytime you're trying something new, particularly in front of the camera, you just have to keep going, and it's going to feel awkward. Like I said before, I mean, it's not natural for anyone. And increasing your confidence is really just like I forget the saying, but it's like to be an expert in any skill set, they say you need like X amount of hours, like thousands of hours or something. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And so when you're starting out, just kind of practice trying to be natural, your delivery, record it, go back, and we all are our own worst critics, but really just it's repetition. And I think the more you do anything, the less weird it will feel. If you have like a trusted friend or family or spouse who's able to kind of like critique you and and you think you're able to take their critique, because you will need to have a tough skin if you really are considering this also as a career. Social media, local news, hosting, public speaking, motivational speaking. Yeah. I guess the one downside I'd say, but I do think ultimately it ends up being a great thing, is you do have to develop a thick skin, because if you're not putting yourself out there, you're never going to have naysayers or people critiquing you, or haters. I hate that term, but it's true, and you're going to have a hater or someone that is critiquing you because you're taking a chance and they're not. Yeah. It's so easy to be an armchair critic and critique people from behind your screen. But I love the creatives of the world and the people who are putting themselves out there. And so my advice to people would be repetition. Try to really just tell yourself it doesn't matter how weird you feel, because your videos don't have to see the light of day until you're comfortable with sharing them. And luckily nowadays we have the technology, the phones. It's very easy to share. So just wait till you feel a little more comfortable. I think, I have little tips and tricks that I like to do before I have filmed interviews. We used to have a podcast that kind of coincided with the show I hosted. Okay. Every morning I would try to go in and do hot yoga or do a jog or something active. Little things that maybe make you feel your best, like a spray tan or a blowout, or, it doesn't have to be extravagant. It could even, if you're a busy parent, just taking a moment to meditate for yourself and lighting a candle. I know that sounds kind of out there, but I think it's just anything that you can do to kind of get you in that zone. I went through yoga teacher training. I'm this close to being a yoga teacher, but I absolutely love, and I practiced a long time. And one of the things, there's so many things I think that is life-changing about the yoga, but one of the things that I really have taken that to my career is the thought to just take a moment to yourself and set an intention, before you're doing something. If you're about to speak in front of a lot of people or do an interview or interview on camera or even job interviews. I've had job interviews. I was so nervous. My last job in Salt Lake, I remember going in, I was 2 months postpartum with twins. I went up and I did not feel like myself, but you fake it till you make it. I went in and I was like, I'm going to own this. I have the experience. They're having me guest host for this top market for a reason, and I'm not going to doubt myself, So it's really, like you said, fake it till you make it. It's so true.
It's like telling yourself too in your head, like, no, you've got this. Like you have to, this experience before with Sean here, he, I was like, okay, my friend came today and I was like, why am I so nervous to interview him? And it's like, because he's so not even successful, but he's so great at what he does and speaking and podcasting and then I'm just like, oh, all the doubt and the fear, they start rising up. And he was like, let's take some deep breaths and let's say some mantras and so that really helps. And I think what you're saying is really true, because you just need to center yourself. And what does that mean for you? It's like, is that doing a superwoman pose and whatever it takes to make yourself bigger before you get on a stage, or centering?
Yeah. What do I do to center? Like I said, I definitely try to carve out some time for myself. I think a lot of us have families, friends. Some people have these multiple jobs. We're all busy. But really taking that time to kind of breathe and be like, I'm meant to be here. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I create my own reality. I don't mean that in a delusional way. I mean in a way that literally I've come this far. And sometimes remind yourself of all that you've achieved. Visualize. I'm huge on visualization. Hard to say. But before I even knew the concept of The Secret, that's one thing that I remember in my adult life. I think it was really amazing when I heard about that book, because I was like, I've been practicing that my whole life without even having the words for it. I remember as a little girl, and I know this sounds crazy, but everything that I've ever envisioned for my life, I have achieved.
I can believe that.
And I tell people that, and anyone can do that. It sounds trite, but if you believe in yourself and just know, like I said, I go back to certain mantras, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. And if you have this visualization of what you want to achieve, no one else knows your dream. So only you can obtain that. Only you can take the steps to put it out there and try to obtain that. And seek advice from other people. Seek a mentor. Seek people that you admire. The worst thing someone can say is no or blow you off. I mean, and that goes back to, you have to have a thick skin if you're going to be in certain industries, or I would say any industry. If you're going to ascend, you really just have to be okay with, it's not even, people are busy, like I said. Yeah. So if someone doesn't respond, okay, onward.
I love that. That's such great advice, because it's in any industry, like you said. And, to be a human today, it's like, okay, we have ups and downs. We do roller coasters of life. It's like some days are great. Some days are a challenge, or we feel alone, or whatever. But knowing where you can come back to and ground yourself is that's been very paramount for me as well. So
it's so important. It really is. Yeah. And we all, we have noise, like I said, we have day to day, we have things going on. But if you can kind of pause and remind yourself, this is what I'm working on. And some days will be more, we'll get more done than others, but it's part of the journey. So,
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Tell me, how have you developed your personal brand over the years? What makes Sarah, Sarah? How do you think that is your brand today what it was 5 years ago?
It's not. No, I love that question. It's been an evolution for sure. And I think that if you were to go and look at pretty much anyone who's successfully branded themselves or conceptualized something, I would say every single one would probably tell you that they have evolved. It's really trial and error and figuring out who you are. I created, conceptualized, hosted, and produced the show called Blonde About Town in Vegas about 10 years ago. And it was when I had stepped away from news anchoring and I had moved back to Vegas. I've been kind of back and forth for a while here. But I was like, I want to go all in. I want to do kind of the celebrity interview, the lifestyle. Growing up, my dream was always I wanted to host E-News. That was kind of like the ultimate. And so when I did Blonde About Town, I was like, let's go all in. Let's interview all the amazing people who are artists here in Las Vegas and beyond. And so my brand was Blonde About Town, and I purposefully made it kind of all-inclusive in that could be any city. And I was able to go to the Cannes Film Festival, New York Fashion Week with it, Formula One in Monaco. I did so many incredible things, and it was such a ride, and it was incredible. And thankfully, I can't take all the credit. I have amazing creative friends here in town who are videographers and editors, and they helped me with a lot of kind of piecing together everything. Then you have your reel, and that afforded me the opportunity to go to my next gigs that I got, And so I think my brand was ever evolving and it continues. And part of that will be if you're employed by a TV station or picked up by a big podcast like Spotify. But I think kind of it's helpful to have an idea of like, again, knowing who you are and just staying true to yourself. And as that evolves, you'll kind of be able to decide, well, that's a good opportunity, or maybe I don't want to do that one because it's not true to my brand.
Mm-hmm. And I do think, and you say this is like, a little, I don't know, woo-woo, but I love the woo-woo because I think it's all legit.
No, I agree. Yeah, totally.
The universe will attracts like. And I think when you are dialed into who you are and your personal brand, the things start showing up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think getting crystal clear with that. And I think it's beautiful that we've all evolved. I've evolved in the last year like crazy amounts, not knowing I would be in this where I'm at right now. And it's exactly where I'm needed to be. And it's exactly where I'm thriving.
And you're probably meeting people that are like-minded, and opportunities continue to unfold. And I guarantee they will continue, because you're putting your energy out there and you're open to the universe and you're accepting of these opportunities. And most people who are like-minded and they're wanting to grow just like you, they're going to want to help you. People want to help each other for the most part. Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful thing and it's exciting. It's fun to see kind of where your journey will unfold. And
definitely. And so do you find yourself more at the magazine as a publisher, and is that where you're comfortable? Is that where you want to be? And do you want to do more TV? Do you want to do more?
Yeah, I definitely haven't closed that door in my head. I'm really open to opportunities as they present themselves. Yeah. I'm so fortunate to have this publishing opportunity. And like we said before, the people I work with, I mean, that's like any dream gig, is being with people that you love and respect. I'm surrounded by these incredible creatives and visionaries. Our publisher, Tim Hancock, our editor-in-chief, Danny, they've become not just people I work with and colleagues, but good friends. And I always am at my happiest, I think, when I'm around people who are creatives and just people who look at the world a certain way. And so, yeah, that's been a dream. And I just can't wait to have our magazine continue to grow. And I think, we talk about doing some more components. We've done in the past, but I think we're going to lean more into hosting as well and filming a lot of our segments and our interviews. And then my own personal brand. I would love to continue doing more red carpet or lifestyle hosting. My dream, in recent years has been to have my own talk show. So we'll see. I would love that to kind of come to life. But however
everything you've wanted has come true.
We're hoping that in the near future.
So if this is what you want, it's in the near future. Yeah, I can feel that for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really hopeful. And you too. I mean, it's incredible. Like you said, this past year sounds like it's been one of a lot of growth and just carving out these opportunities and talking to people. I know we met at, through our friend Tim, but it's so fun to me that, a chance meeting can turn into something, and I'm sure I'll see you again, many times when you're back here in Vegas, or who knows,
Definitely. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been where I need to be and been blessed with all the people that we keep meeting.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. I really appreciate you coming here today and talking to me about your experience and personal brand and confidence. And I think it's really important that the audience here hears from people we all have struggles. We all go and change our personal brands, and it's okay. And I think that the more you open yourself up to the possibilities, it truly can be amazing. So, yeah.
It's so true. It's so important. And I think it's humbling when you look back and reflect on how far you've come, but it's also super inspiring. And so that's what I hope to convey is if people are listening, authenticity is everything. We're all our own worst critic, but just keep going. And if you feel like you made a mistake or you said something silly in whatever context, whether it's an interview or you're speaking in front of a room of thousands of people or looking for your next job, but just know that the person across from you has made many mistakes too. So you're good.
Yes, I love that so much. Words of wisdom.
Yep. So thank you so much for asking me on. It's been such an honor, and it's so lovely to get to know you too. And I'm excited for all that you have in your future as well.
Me too. It's going to be good. I think when we have good collabs, that's when that's the needle moves, You can't do it by yourself.
It's so true.
where could people find you if they're interested in learning more about you or just, wanting to get into Deluxe Version Magazine?
For sure, yeah. So our magazine is Deluxe Version Magazine at Instagram. Our website, same. Me personally, my Instagram handle is Sarah_Jenkins_TV. And my website is sarahjenkins.com. Facebook, same name. So yeah, I'd love if you ever have any questions or you're someone who's thinking of getting into the industry, please reach out. I love meeting new people. And with the magazine, we're always looking for new people to interview, and it's very exciting. So,
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you guys love this episode and want to learn more about personal branding, style, fashion tips, then hit that subscribe button below. Find me at Celeste Moore Image and celestemore.com to book your call with me. Thank you.